don't have to have my phone in my pocket for the lock to recognize.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And you can set the code yourself too, so you can create. It'll send you a code initially, and then within the app, you can create a code that's more custom to you specifically. For example, I set mine to the last 4 digits of my phone number, so I'll never forget.
And
So
that's only programmable through the app though. You
Correct.
can't change it if you're not going to go app,
Correct.
right?
So you
What's your
can.
phone number?
You might see it in a minute, actually. I can't remember. Okay, next slide.
I just want to call you with a question.
Do you have a
That's-
question?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can adjust the thermostat though without the app, right?
Correct. Yep.
Really go walk
Correct.
up the
That's
thermostat.
yep. So that's why initially you can choose to use the app or not. I mean, you really don't have to. But I already covered this. Okay, so that's the mower one. You can close that. Let's look at the next one. See, that's just changing it from auto cool to heat. Yep. Next
Cool.
one. Okay, so this is the part where after day 1, when they're going to send you this automatically created code, there's this access key down here, and then in my access, go to the next slide, is where you can change your code if you want to by going settings. Yeah, this is going to be kind of fast.
Oh, sorry.
So then you're going to go to settings. And then here's where you can get a new code. So you can pick a code, which is create one yourself. You can pick any 6 or 4 digit code you want. There are some rules like you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Or 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 for security purposes. But then you can generate one. But then if you go to the next one, that's going to show you the rules, I think. Yep, so there's just the rules that can't make it a code that's too easy to figure out. Next. There you go. So 4 or 6 digit. And then that's where you type it in, and then you set it. And here's a look at the activity feed. So you can see everything that's been going on. So one of the perks from a resident perspective is every time you put in a work order through your portal, it'll automatically create a work order for our maintenance team. There are rules, like if we can't use those codes after hours, for example. But you'll get a notification when, like, let's say you put in a work order tonight to have your sink unclogged. Well, if tomorrow you get a notification at 10 that your door was open, it'll say maintenance, and then you'll also see when they left, and you can say, hey, great, I know that they got my work order done that I put in. So it's kind of a convenient way to check to see if they were in your unit that day or not. And then it'll show, here's your leak sensor, no activity, and the various locations within the building where they're installed to prevent some of those major water loss events. There we go. So here is the activity feed. Sorry about that. So you can see I changed locked, unlocked, changed my thermostat. It tells me the day I did it, the time, who did it. So if you have multiple leaseholders, like if you're in a fight with your roommate because he's blasting the AC too much, you can see who's turning the AC down. It's a good way to do it. Next. Sorry, we're kind of flying through this. I'm sure there's questions. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We'll be automatically given a code.
Yes. Yep. Once it's installed, you'll get a text or an email that says your unit has been installed. It's complete. Here's your code, and you can keep that code if you want. Right? Just a matter of memorization, or you can go through the app and change it if you want. I'm sure there's a way to do it elsewhere. I'm just not familiar. Like, I don't know if they have like a dashboard for residents to log in on the internet, on the computer, or maybe even calling the customer service. But the app is where I know you can physically change it pretty dang easy.
Just for clarification, you can only view activity when it's through the app, right? So anyone who doesn't have the app, or if there's that
Sure.
dashboard you were just saying.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, for
Yep.
clarification.
So activity can only be seen from the app, or if they have a resident dashboard on the internet. I'm not totally sure. That's a good question. But as far as us seeing it, the only activity we can see as management is when we use one of our maintenance codes. So we can see when we go in and out, but nothing what the residents can do. Does that make sense? Yeah.
We're gonna have to punch our code to like get in from the garage to the elevator.
Nope. The code is just for your apartment door. That's it.
We're still gonna have a fob.
Yes.
I don't, oh, you want, maybe that didn't answer my question. I have a
No.
question.
No?
We don't know about the fob thing yet, right? We have to.
How do you get in? How do you get into the gym then?
So the one difference that this installation is than mine is my residents can use the app or a physical fob. She was told today that it's one or the other, but they're going to clarify that and see because I don't see why that would be the case, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, because also what if your phone is
So we don't know how we're gonna get from like the parking
It's
lot.
a fob. It's a fob or through your app, through your phone app.
Assuming your phone is
Fob,
charged.
fob, like you have now.
Yeah, no. So there's something.
Yeah.
There's
he
something
told
to
us-
that.
He told us we have to disable the Bluetooth one in order to give them a fob, so. We can clarify that.
Yeah, clarify.
That's a huge problem. Everybody's just gonna want a fob. What's the point of this then?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, some people, I mean, like the keyless option, I mean, that's where
It's
we
great
are.
for, like going into your apartment and stuff, but everywhere else, if we gotta have our phones, you also have to make sure that your phone is actually, charged. You know?
Yeah, and to your point, I think that's another reason why I would challenge that with them because it's possible for mine. There's no reason why it shouldn't be possible for yours, but
Well, if you guys want to join in and help with the questions, if you guys want to join the call tomorrow, the Q&A tomorrow through SmartRent, and then I'll reach out to our reps so we can maybe collaborate on an answer on that. I think that would be helpful too. Go ahead.
and they've been actually really, everybody dreads calling 1-800 I need help, whatever. These folks are actually really above average. Like you're not on hold for an hour. They're actually very helpful. I've had to call them multiple times because when units go vacant, 100 things can happen, which doesn't impact you as residents, but it becomes quite a nightmare for us to navigate getting things back online. And they've been, it's not like Comcast, for example. Sorry if anybody works for Comcast. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, because
We'll dig into it.
yeah.
So if our phones die, or let's assume that we only have access to the app, if our phones die, phones get stolen,
Mm-hmm.
how do we get in on after hours?
So you would get into the building through the butterfly, right? Because you can buzz yourself in that way.
But if your phone's dead,
You can bring your, oh, wait,
No, the butterfly's the same.
Yeah.
What do we have? Still the app.
You could always set up, on your butterfly right now, you could set up, send yourself a 6-digit
Yeah.
code.
A virtual.
That would be
Yep.
that you can use whenever you want.
So the one asterisk to this question about the fob versus Bluetooth is amenities. So getting into the unit and getting into the building, you don't technically need a phone at all. You would just need to set up your codes so that worst case scenario, you lose your phone when you're at the beach, you can get into the butterfly with your code and then your unit with the code. So in theory, you should never be locked out. The one and only time you could hypothetically get locked out is if the battery dies on your front door lock. However, the system is set up so that when battery life reaches 20%, it automatically creates a work order for us to go replace the batteries. So the device alerts us to that before you might even notice. So it's pretty slick. My property in St. Paul last summer was struck by lightning, and everything from fire panel, elevators, garage doors, everything was completely fried. The only thing that worked was apartment doors. That's the only thing that survived because they're battery powered.
Your building sounds cursed.
That was a different one than the flood.
Oh, okay.
So last summer was rough. Yes. Last
So
summer.
you're the comment.
Yeah. I'm leaving immediately after this, I promise.
All one word.
But let's see what the last one was.
Yes, SmartRent.
And here you go. Here's the help center. So you can get on with a text message. You can pull up their phone number, request customer support, all kinds of things. So it's pretty good. It's pretty easy. What I would tell people to do is, I know it's another app, right? Like your phone is 4 screens full of them. My recommendation is give it a shot. If you hate it, there's a way to not need it, right? But I find it as a resident quite convenient, especially for, did I forget to turn the AC off, right? Like just saves me money in the long run. There's not going to be any financial impact